Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, That's Ready Homeschool. I am Mrs. T. Like many of you out there, a lot of homeschooling families, we are in the throes of preparing for the 2024 to 2025 school year, which is just crazy. It's crazy that we already are here, and I'm so excited. So today I want to share with you where we are in our planning process, and I also want to give an update with how homeschooling is going right now, because my pre-care has hit a pretty big milestone and I'm just really excited and I'm looking forward to sharing it. So we're gonna actually start with that milestone, you guys. We have been doing phonics and math every single day, and he has hit this milestone with phonics where it has clicked. I don't know what it was. He's been good for a while now with like knowing what sounds each letter makes and working on those short vowel sounds. So he's been very good about recognizing that, but blending them has been very challenging. But for whatever reason, I don't really know what it was. We haven't changed anything, but just the other day, like a week ago, it clicked. And now we are flying through our programs that we are using, and he is getting so excited. He's so proud. So the other thing that he has started to do is, so we are going through a couple of phonics, or 2 phonics programs, but one of them we're doing is elemental phonics. We're doing level 1. And I'm actually gonna do a video all about this. But the way that it's set up is you have like these sheets that have a consonant and then a vowel, and you just kind of go all the way through and you just practice. And at first there are no real words, right? It's just like these combination of sounds. But he hit this really cool stride where while we were reviewing these, after it kind of clicked, he would be like, you know, it'd be like H and O. So he'd go like, ha, ah, and it'd be like hot or hog. So we started to recognize that these are building blocks for real words, and it was so cool to see, you guys. So very exciting little update. It was a big win. I'm very proud of him, and we're just so excited to keep moving forward. But anyway, proud mom moment. Let's go ahead now. Let's pivot. We're going to talk a little bit about planning for the 2024 to 2025 school year. So for us, we are in the midst of planning, but we have done a little bit of planning already, and we had to have a couple of conversations before we could get to where we are in our planning stage. So I'll be honest, you guys, when I was like, oh, we gotta start planning for the new year, I immediately just wanted to look at curriculum, but I had to put a pause. I cannot start there. That's like near the end of planning in my mind, or like the second half of planning. So for me, the very first thing is we had to actually kind of wrap our head around some of our big changes. Big change number 1 is preschooler. We had to decide if we were going to do another year of preschool, so like a pre-kindergarten year, or if we were going to move him into kindergarten. He is at the age range that if he were to go into a public school, he'd not be applicable this year, but he would be able to apply for an exception if we wanted to. So he'd either be older than his peers or younger than his peers. So like if he were to start in a public school, this year he'd be considered young. So anyway, we had to decide how we were going to navigate that with our homeschool. And quite frankly, because I don't know very many homeschooling families that like directly who have gone through this, I actually ended up contacting our school district, and we talked to the person who is in charge of homeschooling in our school district, and that was a really good conversation. And the short of it is we are going to be filing our official intent to homeschool him as a kindergartner. And she was just very transparent. She's like, you know, as the teacher, as the parent, you have more say than like, you don't have to put him in this box of like just kindergarten. You like what you teach him might be a mix of pre-K and kindergarten. And then she started to also explain like if you do need to transfer him into a public school, you have more say than you would think regarding which grade he were to go into. So I felt a lot better about that because I didn't want to, I think like school wise, he's ready for kindergarten level, but social wise, like if we were to transfer him to a school, I think I'd rather him be on the older side, frankly. So anyway, so that was really enlightening. I thought that was very good. So officially we are going to have preschooler shift into the kindergartner mode, the label, in autumn. Another big shift is we have decided that we are going to shift toddler to be preschooler. So he's going to be doing preschool work with us. It's going to be pretty low key, but we are officially starting homeschool with him as well. Just because he's already doing math and phonics with us, and he loves school. He loves doing whatever his brother does. So we are officially going to be homeschooling 2 kids. So that's a pretty big change. All right. So the next side, once we figured out who we were going to be homeschooling, the next thing for me was figuring out the legal. Again, I'm a first-time homeschooling mom, and this is the first time we are going to be filing our intent to homeschool. And so we had to make sure that, or I had to make sure that I knew exactly what my state required, but I also wanted to see what some of the stricter states required as well, because you never know where life is going to take you. I wanted to get an idea of, what might happen if we need to transfer. Like, what does that look like? So basically, I knew what I needed to do, and I came up with our record keeping that we are officially going to do. So I will go over that probably in another video, but the simple way of describing it is it's just a binder per child with 12 tabs, and kindergarten will go before tab 1, and it's just going to have copies of our intent to homeschool, a record of the subjects that we're teaching, as well as a high-level overview of the content we are covering. Like, I'm talking 2 to 3 sentences, nothing crazy. And then I also do list out the curriculum that we are leveraging as well. Okay, so I figured out who we're homeschooling. I figured out the legal, what we need. The next step for me was actually figuring out our flow. Again, I wanted to hop straight into curriculum, and I made this error last year where I picked curriculum that I liked, and I tried to fit us to make the curriculum. No, I tried to work us for the curriculum instead of making the curriculum work for us. So rather than picking the curriculum first, I decided that I need to figure out what we needed in regards to schedule, what our expectation was, what subjects did we want to cover, right? You can go down this huge rabbit hole where suddenly there are like 35 subjects you want to cover. It's like you just can't do it all. So what subjects are we going to do? So based on how we are doing right now with homeschooling, I decided to initially plan with the idea of about an hour and a half of instruction each day. Now, this does not mean he's limited to an hour and a half of learning. This is an hour and a half of instruction. So, for example, it might take me 10 minutes to teach him how to do a craft, or to walk him through, like, read the materials before he does some sort of play that relates to it, or maybe he's creating a story. Like, there are so many things he might be doing where I'm not actively instructing. So we want about an hour and a half-ish of instruction. And based on his current, we'll say his current attention span, that basically means between 10 to maybe 20 minutes of instruction at a time. So using math, I was able to come to the conclusion that we could have basically 6 subjects that we do every day, and those can be our primary subjects. So then I was like, okay, what subjects would we be doing? And I came up with a list, and it was kind of easy to come up with this first list, but then I definitely noticed gaps. So let's talk about what our primary subjects are going to be. Phonics, language arts, handwriting, and fine motor. I'm gonna put those together. Math, science, and for us, ecology or environmental science. I really wanted that to be a core subject starting early. This is going to be something you will see, hopefully, in all my videos, is an emphasis on being outside and teaching about the environment from an early age. So anyway, those 6. But immediately I was like, oh, but what about French? What about history? I really want to do history, social studies, geography. I had all these little things I also wanted to do. So considering all that, what I finally came up with I was able to come up with our rhythm. So what I was hoping to do is Monday through Friday, we will be covering 3 subjects for Monday through Friday, so every day. So we're going to do some sort of phonics, we're going to do math, and we're going to do ecology every day. And I'll talk about what that will look like. On top of that, for 4 days a week, we are also going to do 3 other subjects. So we will be doing on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will be doing our handwriting, our language arts, our science. Is that it? Handwriting, language arts, yeah, and science. And then on Wednesday, which is kind of the day that we're only doing ecology, phonics, and math, we are also going to add in our history here, and yeah, just our history. And then as for French and the language, I decided that we're going to, I found a program that I want us to do. I have an idea of what curriculum, but we're not at the age where we're ready for it. So for French, we are going to be working on conversational French every single day, but it's not going to be an official curriculum, but I will talk about how I'm planning for that, because I definitely found that I do not do well flying by the seat of my pants. So I do have a resource for that, and we will practice it every single day, but it's going to be small amounts, and we're going to be focusing on that in a different way from our other curriculum. But that is basically going to be our rhythm and kind of our schedule, but we'll go over our schedule in more depth, because now that I know like the rhythm, for me, it was now finding the curriculum that would fit that and support that. So we're gonna pause at this time. Let me just say that I do already have all of our curriculum picked. We are approaching curriculum a little bit differently than, I don't know, than the typical, we'll say like school system, which would pick like a curriculum that is only to be started on August or September, and it goes till May to June. We're going to be doing our curriculum a little bit differently, and I will talk about that in the next video, where we also talk about our curriculum picks. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you being here and hearing my ramble. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, and good luck with your own planning. Bye, everyone.